Okay, today we will use tape diagrams or fraction bars to divide fractions by whole numbers. Let's begin by looking at this problem here. Nolan gives some pans of brownies to his 3 friends to share equally. If he has 3 pans of brownies, how many pans of brownies will each friend receive? Well, what division problem would this be? This would be 3 divided by 3 equals 1. In this case, we're saying how many go into each group if we have 3 groups. 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 2, 3 pans of brownies, so each friend would get 1. Let's look at this problem here. Nolan gives some pans of brownies to his 3 friends to share equally. If he has 1 pan of brownies, how many pans of brownies will each friend receive? Well, in this problem, what are we dividing equally? We're dividing that 1 pan of brownies. And how many friends are we splitting it among? We're splitting it among 3 friends. Well, if I have one pan of brownies and I want to split it up amongst my 3 friends, 1, 2, 3, how many pans of brownies will each friend get? Well, here, 1 friend will get a third, 1 friend will get a third, and 1 friend will get a third. We happen to know that 1 divided by 3 is the same as 1/3. If you remember, 1 divided by 3, those are the same thing. And we can always check our answer by multiplying. So we're going to do 3 over 1 times 1 over 3. We get 3/3, which is equal to 1. So our check is complete. Our check is complete. Let's look at another problem here. If Nolan gives some pans of brownies to his 3 friends to share equally, if he has 1/2 a pan of brownies, how many pans of brownies will each friend receive? Well, if he has half a pan of brownies, I'm going to bring out my fraction bars here. And I want to find 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. 3 pieces, because he wants to give to 1, 2, 3 friends still. But how much of a whole pan is each friend going to get? How much of a whole pan will each friend receive? Well, some of you might say, oh, they're getting 1/3. But obviously that piece is not the same size as 1/3. So 1/3 of that pan is not the correct answer. They're getting 1/3 of the 1/2, absolutely. But how much of the pan, the whole pan, are they getting? Well, for me to be able to do that, I would need to look at how many pieces make up the whole pan. Well, how many pieces make up the whole pan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, each of his friends will receive 1/6 of a pan, because each of these makes a whole pan if I put 6 together, but I only had 1/2 to start with, so I'd have to take that 1/2 and split that up among the 3 friends. So each friend will receive 1/6 of a pan. Go ahead and draw that out for ourselves. This is our 1 pan of brownies. 1 pan of brownies. And he starts with 1/2 of a pan. And he wants to break that up among 3 friends. For me to be able to do that, 1, 2, 3, I need to relate back to my whole pan. How much of the whole pan will they get? And each person will get 1/6 of a pan. So, how many pans of brownies will each friend receive? Each friend will receive 1/6 pan of brownies. Again, we relate it back to the whole thing. On this one, we're saying how much fits in 3 groups. How much fits in each of the 3 groups. Let's continue on to our next problem. And our next problem is the same. He has 3 friends to share equally, but this time he has 1/3 a pan of brownies. How many pans of brownies will each friend receive? Again, we're talking about pans. How much of a pan each friend will receive? Well, if I have 1/3, I like to break that pan up so that way I can see the third that I have. So let's make this our 1 pan. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3. And each friend, he has 3 friends, 1, 2, 3, receive part of that third of a pan. But again, we don't know what size piece that is. How much of a pan is that? So we go and we figure out how much of the whole pan that is. And we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pieces, and each friend gets 1/9. So here's our 1/3. I almost forgot to write it down. Each friend will receive 1/9 pan of brownies. Each friend will receive 1/9 pan brownies. These problems are a little different from what we did yesterday. Yesterday we said, how many groups of 1/3 can we make from 2? Today we're saying, if I have 3 groups, how much is in each group if I have 1/3 pan? How much is in each group versus how many groups? How much is in each group? That's kind of our question of the day here. Problem 2, let's look at it. 1/5 divided by 2. Well, just so we're clear here, this problem up here was 1/2 divided by 3. This problem was 1/3 divided by 3. Again, here I got 1/6. Here I got 1/6, and we can, 1/9. We can always check it by doing our multiplication. So 3 times 1/6 equals 3/6 equals 1/2. Check. 3 times 1/9 equals 3/9 equals 1/3 check. We can see that those worked out. So here we have a problem, okay? I could check this by doing whatever my answer is times 2, or 2/1, and then I'm hoping that I would get 1/5. That's how I would know that my answer was correct. So let's look at this problem. This whole thing is going to represent 1. Imagine that this problem is pans of brownies, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know they're not to scale or the same size. I tried my best. And we're splitting or sharing it into 2 groups. Well, how much is in each group? How much is in each group? Well, I don't know what that's worth in each group, so I'm going to relate to the whole again. So I know the value of those pieces, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces. So each of these, of the 1/5, is worth 1/10. So let's check our answer here. 1 times 2 is 2, 10 times 1 is 10, 2/10 equals 1/5 if I simplify by dividing by 2 on top and bottom. So again, the things to remember for today. Here, when we divide a fraction by a whole number, we're asking how much is in each group. For us to do that, we make a box that's equal to 1 whole, a tape diagram equal to 1 whole. We divide it up into how many groups I need, and then we figure out what the value in each group would be. Let's continue on to our problem set and get a little bit more practice. This one is done for us. 1 whole, here we have 1/2 divided by 3, so I have my 1/2. I split it into 3 groups. How much is in each group? Well, to do that, I see I have the whole, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So each one is worth 1/6. Here I have 1/4. So I'm again going to draw my whole. I'm going to split that up into fourths. And I'm going to have 2 groups that I'm dividing that fourth into. Well, I want to know how much is in each of these groups. So I'm going to again relate to the whole, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 1/8, and this is 1/8. Let's do our check. 2 times 1/8 equals 2/8. If I divide by 2 on top and bottom, I get 1/4. Continuing on to letter D. 1/4 divided by 1/3. Again, I make my whole, and I get that 1/4 that I start out with. Here I have 1/4, and I want to split that into 3 groups, and I want to know how much is in each of those groups. Well, what's the value of that? I need to relate it to the whole. And then I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So each of these is 1/12. 1/12 would be in each of those groups. To check it, we do 3 times 1/12. Getting 3/12. Divide by 3, top and bottom, and we get 1/4, which is what we wanted. Next page of our problem set, divide then multiply to check. So I'm going to start with my whole. I'm going to show my 1/2, and I'm splitting that 1/2 into 7 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to know how much is in each group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, I don't know the value of that, so I have to break it up. The whole 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So each of these is worth 1/14. And that's how much we have in each group. Check it. 1/14. A little sloppy there. Sorry, guys. 1/14 times 7/1 equals 7/14. Divide by 7, top and bottom. We get 1/2, which was our goal. Here we go. Whole thing. And I have only 1/3 to start. I want to split that 1/3 up into 6 groups. I have my 6, but I need to know how much is in each one, so I relate to the whole. And I should have 18, so each group gets 1/18. I check that back into my problem using multiplication. Divide by 6 on top and bottom, and we get 1/3, which was our desired outcome. Here we go. Here's our whole. Here's my, 1/4. I'm going to split that up into 5 groups. I want to know how much is in each group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I see I have 20 pieces, so that would give me 1/20 as my answer. I check that by multiplying by 5, and we get 5/20. Divide by 5, divide by 5, top and bottom, which gives me 1/4, which is what I wanted. Here we go. Tasha eats half her snack and gives the other half to her 2 best friends for them to share equally. Tasha eats half her snack and gives the other half to her 2 best friends for them to share equally. What portion of the whole snack does each friend get? So, here we go. Here's my whole. Here is my half. She ate half. She's given them half, and she wants them to split that up between the 2 of them. I want to know how much is in this group, so I'm going to relate it to the whole. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So each friend gets 1/4. Each friend gets 1/4 the whole snack. Beautiful. Mrs. Ackler used half a gallon of olive oil to make 8 identical batches of salad dressing. Here's my whole gallon. Here's my half a gallon. And she wanted to make 8 identical batches. How many gallons of olive oil did she use in each batch? So we're taking this and splitting it into 8 groups. And we want to know how much is in this group. Well, I don't know that, so I'm going to relate to my whole. And I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So each of those batches gets 1/16 gallon. Each batch gets 1/16 gallon of salad dressing. Oops. I'm sorry, 1/16 gallon of olive oil. That's it for today. Hope this helped, guys.